Nothing we say is investment advice. Please pause on all 3 pages of this disclaimer and read it.
Good morning, everybody. Cowboy here, and it is Thursday, May the 28th, 8:30 a.m. EST, and everything should be good to go today. I had a rough start the last couple of days with all the equipment and such things, but should be good to go here. And looking at Bitcoin, wondering if we have seen the top. We're going to zoom out a little bit, and I don't mean the top, I mean the local top. Certainly, well, not certainly, but pretty high probability 126 was the high time frame top. We saw that back, when was this, November? October, right at the end of, or beginning of October, we saw price with Bitcoin go to 126,000 at the time. And well, let's just say like from 2024 through 2025, I was telling everybody that the top that I thought we would see would be between 120 to 160,000, with 140 kind of being a sweet spot. We made it to 126. So we did hit my areas there. And that was just based on data, really not that complex. Now what we're seeing is a sort of a waterfall down. And it's a slow waterfall. And that waterfall is slowing as it goes, which is pretty typical after a bull market top, right? So what you get are these moves down, consolidation, and a move down, runs and flats, runs and flats. This is typical in any market, right? Runs and flats. So here's your run, and then you get this flat where price kind of just consolidates for a while, then a run, and then a flat where price consolidates for a while. Are we beginning a new run? That really is the question, right? So we're going to talk about what that might look like. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Something like 60% of you that watch this are not subscribed. Okay. Also, I believe we did just have some data come out. So I'm going to flip over there real quick. See, today's Thursday. Yeah. We had some USD data come out, core PCE, a little bit bearish, right? So that would be, let's see, bearish data, good for the dollar. And the same with the GDP. GDP was a little bearish. And I say bearish, it was just a little bit of a cooler print than we expected, right? So bad for the dollar, which usually means good for, like, maybe the NASDAQ or whatever it is. But we'll take a look at how that's affecting the charts here as we go through today. Again, we're going to just do our Bitcoin analysis first, and I'm going to back out to the weekly chart. Okay. And I said this the other day, and I say this quite often, but it bears repeating. Historically, Bitcoin falls about 80% off of its highs, right? So if I go to a different Bitcoin chart and I look for the Bitcoin index, and we go through all-time history, and I turn this into a logarithmic chart. Let's see. It was log. Okay. So what we can do is look at the past highs here, the past highs of the halvings, and see how far price falls on that. So we had our first high in about 2011, and I have a tool here that will measure the percent of how far it fell. Okay, so let's look at that. That was a 93% fall from $31 all the way down to $2 back in 2011. Now the next high that we had was here in 2013. Okay. And that was at 1,300 about. It was like roughly, what, 1,260. And it made its way all the way down to $160. And that was an 87% fall from the highs. Now we have the 2017, 2018 high. I was in by that time. And price topped out at 19,000, made its way all the way down to 3,100 or so. That is an 85% drop. And then we had the 2021, really 2021 high of 69,000 or so. And that fell all the way down to 15,000, roughly 15 and a half. That was a 77% fall. So we're sitting around 80 to 90% on average. So if we just kept it a simple 80% or even 85, that's going to put us down from our high of 127, 80%, just 80% is 24,000. roughly about 25,000. Okay. So I just want to set your expectation here. Now, of course, the market's different and the institutional money is in, and things tend to be less volatile as time goes on. So we might see 70%, right? Whatever the case may be. But even 70%, if we want to stay conservative on that, is going to take us down below 40,000, right? Price is sitting at 73. You're looking at 50% down from now, but I do believe it'll probably approach 80 because, even with all of the new changes in the market, I think 30,000 and maybe a little bit of a panic below is pretty realistic. The last one was a 77% fall. Even if we did 77%, that's like 31,000. So just bear that in mind as you're, kind of thinking, oh, how deep can this go? I'm going to tell you, it can go deep. All right. So that being the case, I have this block right here. You can see this yellow sort of where price consolidated is where price is going to want to go. And the highest point of that is 31,000, right? Where price made this consolidation on the way up after its lows. Okay. So just understand that that's how it is. Okay. All right, good. So I'm going to take it off of log view so we can actually keep it proportional. We can see how far it's actually fallen from the top. From the top, it's already fallen about 50%. So, another 25% to take us down to 30,000. We got to keep that all in mind. And this could happen a little bit more slowly as the rest of the year goes on. I believe this will happen by probably November or October. So if I put that early November, you have a trajectory there, right? So if we just saw a local top, it'll probably go like this, and then it'll probably pull one of these. It'll probably slow down, and then you'll see it go flat for a while, maybe even another dump. And then you'll see it slowly start to kind of even out next year, right? That's typically how it goes if you look at the past, right? It falls pretty hard. You have another hard fall, and then just kind of grinds down and slowly makes its way. Okay, so we'll see about it. In the meantime, let's look locally at what Bitcoin might do. Now that we've seen this kind of high time frame, 30,000 foot view, now we're going to zoom in a bit and see what may happen in that sense. Interesting look. Yeah, interesting look right now. This does look to me like it just broke down and it's going to continue down. I could be wrong. There are some algorithmic reasons why this might not go down in a hurry. So we're just going to have to play a level by level at this point. So if price does break down right now, and it very well could. Oops. Let's do this here. We do have some data here to give us some ideas of price targets for the moment. We have a head and shoulders, even though the neckline is slanted down. So it's not an ideal head and shoulders, but it is nonetheless a head and shoulders, which it is one of the few patterns that I like to trade. I'm not a big pattern trader at this point in my career. Let's do this here. I don't know what just happened there. Let me delete that. Used the wrong pattern. Okay. Apologies. So let's get some targets here. Let's look at some local targets as to where Bitcoin might fall. So you have a 618 here. The way we do this is we take a Fibonacci extension and we apply it to the very apex of the head, very tip right there. And we pull that down to the neckline below the tip. Okay. And you're looking at about 69,000. That's your 618 target. So if I were to go short on Bitcoin right now, if I were to just kind of do like a short that I'd ride for a while, I'd look at that. So it would basically be from here. I'd look for a pullback It might not get one, but ideally you're seeing a pullback right now. So let's zoom in a bit. You see price actually grinding upwards. So ideally, we would see something like, might even go a little higher and then down, right? So maybe grab the short there. And I'd have a stop loss above some of this structure right here. There's some structure there. They created the neckline in the first place. There's even this 1 bar pullback right here, which is kind of a nice, cozy feeling to be above that for the stop loss. And then we have our target right there. That's a 2-to-1. You could use whatever structure here for your stop loss. You can do that. Bitcoin's a tricky beast, though. I would give Bitcoin some room. You could always do 2 different trades, one with a tighter stop, right? But this is the basic play for Bitcoin. Okay, so I'm showing you this, guys, live. I'm not in it at this point. It could happen way sooner, by the way. It could happen like today. So don't think that just because I drew it out a few days means it will happen in a few days. I'm just giving you guys the basic setup. And that's the setup, right? So this is a freebie for you all. And as the algos allow me to enter this trade, I would do it. So let me share this setup here over on our private lab too, for those who are my clients who may not be watching this particular show. And so far, Bitcoin has been able to avoid a lot of the drama that we see from the news, right? So a lot of the news pushing price around in unexpected ways. Bitcoin's, at least on this time frame, hasn't had that problem. For one thing, it stays open during the weekend, so you don't have that big weekend, like where it closes down and then it opens and it has a gap, and that doesn't happen with Bitcoin. This seems to add to a form of stability for it. So that's pretty much that. I know I've been paying a lot of attention to the NASDAQ, so let's go ahead and take a look at that. This was the pair of trades that I talked about. Of course, this lower trade with this excellent risk to reward, where I would enter right about here, which is at, say, about 29,640. Now, I would wait for some things to happen before I simply, I wouldn't just enter that. I would wait for things to confirm a little bit, at least show that price is not going to continue down, or at least the probability of a pullback deeper is not going to happen. And I would have considered that. But we have the fly in the ointment. We have the weekend gap, right? We have the gap from the close on Friday to the Sunday open, and price does tend to want to fill gaps, guys. That's just how this works. So price, this is the reason why the current trade wouldn't play out, but so far it's holding. So we're going to see if it will continue to hold. I'll take one last look at the stack here before I move on to the private live lab. We're at a point where it's at a decision. Is it going to continue up, or is it going to pull back? Like, price lasted through yesterday trying to pull back and still hasn't broken the lows of Tuesday last week. It's staying above those Tuesday lows from last week, which are right here at 29,736. And NASDAQ is notorious for just not pulling back, but that gap just keeps hanging out right there. So I'd say this current trade, which is like a 5-to-1, I mean, a beautiful trade. Don't get me wrong. Is that a 9-to-1? These are both 9-to-1s. That's crazy. Yeah, what a great trade this would be, huh? The conservative way to take this trade would actually be to have my stop loss all the way down here, but I didn't do that. So, I mean, hey, it's worth it at a 9-to-1. If it messes up, you just take it again, So that's the way that I would handle that. So just bearing that in mind right now, yeah, it could go either way. I mean, this could pull back a little further, but it's basically hit this level right here, which is where it's going to want to pull back to, which was the prior high from May, like 14 May, so halfway through May, and it's bounced right off that, which is kind of typical, you know. So, but I do again have that gap right there that just it's kind of bugging me a little bit. I mean, it's not bugging me. It's just if it hits, it hits. I lose the trade and I take another trade. But that's the look for now. So, you know, a little extra here. I gave this away already openly. I've already shown this locally or openly. So there you go. So we're gonna go ahead over to the private live lab. But thank you all for watching. Don't forget, you know, we teach people how to do this. Like, first of all, if you're with Algo Factory, a couple things you get. One is we teach you how to build your own algos. So you basically most people who I talked to today who want to get into trading, they want to use AI. They want to use AI to create a method for their, you know, like whatever their formula is for trading. I call it an algorithm, which is really what it is. And they want to have a robot trade for them. They want to do the agentic trading. If you want to do that, you got to build an algo. And algo is the engine for that. And it always has been, even before agentic trading was a thing. You know, even before just having a bot trade for you was a thing. That the algo is key. Back when guys were just handwriting charts and calling their broker to do a trade, you know, like, or the guys in the pit, those guys, all those guys, that's us all. Algos run the whole thing. Algorithms have been around for hundreds of years. We teach you how to build it. We also can show you how to automate that. If you can build a successful algo and I can see that it is successful, I can actually help walk you through that automation process. You know, we can even help you learn how to use AI to get an edge. Even if your algo is kind of profitable, but you want to juice it a bit, we can help you juice it. Like, we're just good at all this stuff. So come to algofactory.tech. There's a link in the description. It's a video. That video shows you how I build a simple algorithm. You'd have to optimize it in order to trade with it, right? It's not plug and play like that. But I also show you how to turn it into code using AI. Any AI will do. I used Grok. I show you the tools that traders use to connect that algorithm to their broker, so it will trade for them without them sitting there, right? So we show you all that stuff in that video. And so, you know, well, why would I pay you to show me that again? Well, because there is just so much more to this game. There's so much more to trading. It's actually not that complex. Like, it's complex, but it's not complicated. Like, to get this done is not rocket science, guys. It just requires dedication and persistence. You got to be willing to kind of go through, I just did a bunch of work and it's not turning out, so I just have to refine. And you got to refine, and you got to refine. But eventually, if you stick with it, you will be successful. This is how it works. And then you can ask anybody at Algo Factory. I'm very, very dedicated to your success. We're actually offering free one-on-one trading right now. That's not going to last. There are some caveats to that. I don't give you infinite one-on-one. I don't just sit with you all day. But long story short, as long as you are going through the classes and making the progress, then yes, I will do what I can. I will meet with you, and we will make sure that you get successful. This is how we do things. All right. Everybody's success, the only thing that's holding them back in this game is persistence, their own work ethic. And that really is just about it. There's the odd case where maybe somebody just doesn't get it. That can happen. But 99% of the time, if you fail, it's just because you quit. It's if you got a guy like me coaching you. So come on in. Hope to see you soon. We will see you next week. I'll do the Monday video. It was a Tuesday video this week, obviously, because we had the holiday. But I will do a Monday video, and we'll get you that data. And then Tuesday morning, 8:30 a.m. EST sharp, we'll be back here. So thanks again for watching, sticking with me, and don't forget.
Join us or die.
Just kidding, you're not going to die. We love you.